Hello again from Swaziland. During our last interview, we spoke with caregiver Tambifuti Mutfanzi, mainly about NCPs and OVCs. We touched a bit on the topic of malnutrition, however, I think we need to focus a bit more on its impact on development. Today, I'm here with fellow volunteer and colleague Netta Mays, who I believe has some valuable insights on the issue. Hello, Netta. Thanks for sharing with us today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me to your beautiful house.
You are welcome. Before we discuss Swaziland specifically, could you give us an overview of your professional experience and how it relates to the topic?
Well, I love food. I was a chef for about 9 years before I came to Peace Corps. Nutrition is my largest passion. I like to focus on daily nutrition, not so much like athletic nutrition or like nutrition to lose weight for aesthetic reasons, just daily nutrition for families to live healthy lifestyles and to learn skills that they can permanently implement in their life. Making food healthy, easy, affordable, and delicious, this just becomes people's norm.
Great. So basically, you're a pretty good person to shed some light on this problem that we see all too often in Swaziland. Could you talk a bit about your experience, what you've witnessed here in Swaziland regarding malnutrition?
Okay, so here in Swaziland, well, at least in my personal experience, I don't want to speak on behalf of everybody or every Swazi, but in my community, I see more of a micronutrient deficiency than a macronutrient deficiency. What that means is people are eating every day, and it seems like they're eating enough, but they're lacking in vitamins and minerals. They're not eating enough diverse foods to hit all those vitamin and mineral needs on a daily level. Other communities may have different needs than mine. I know that there are communities much far worse off in income and development, and also communities that were hit harder with the drought.
Yeah, so about the drought, how has it contributed to malnutrition throughout the country?
Many families depend on the grains provided by World Food Program. My family was happy to have a partial crop from their fields this year. Money that could be used for supporting the family in a variety of different ways goes to buying more of the basic ingredients such as maize meal, beans, or even food to protect their valuable cows from dying. Having home gardens is very challenging with the lack of water. So I know that people in my community, a lot of them used to have gardens, and they would have them as a permanent part of their homestead. But when the drought came, the cows and the livestock became extra hungry, so they would destroy fences and eat their gardens, and there was just no water available to water the vegetables. Another thing I want to bring up is like cooking techniques, which isn't so much about the drought, but I think like cooking techniques have a part in the nutrition here, because some of the styles and ways that traditional foods are prepared can damage the nutrients within the foods that are available. So taking the little that we have and making it even less.
Yeah. Great. How do you feel the drought and malnutrition have affected rural communities specifically?
I think that the drought has made it, let me think. Well, people used to depend on their farms for their main source of income, whether it was, raising livestock, but also like the fields and the crops that people grew are not for sale. They are just to support the families. I know at my homestead we have 2 humongous tin holding bins that used to be filled with maize regularly.
Yeah.
I haven't just seen them thrown on the ground, rusting. They've been empty the whole time that I've been here, and I don't know when the last time they had been full. I'm sure probably maybe 3 to 4 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. So moving from community development, let's talk about how malnutrition has affected child development. What have you seen here in terms of this?
Okay, so the most important time for a child to reach their full development is in the first 1,000 days, which is about from inception in the womb to the first 2 years of their lives. And And that's it will lead into community development. As I just want to start off with this though. When those in those first 2 years, it's imperative that like the mother receives like proper nutrition because her child is developing. A lack of that nutrition in this time period, those first 1,000 days from inception to 2 years, can make the child can severely impact the child's organs and body, but also most of all their brain development, which leads into how they perform in school, which leads into basic decision making as adults, understanding critical thinking. And when you are dealing with such a large population of a certain area, dealing with malnutrition, then you're dealing with a whole population that might not be thinking as clearly as they possibly could if they did have proper nutrition from that early age.
Yeah, definitely. So we've discussed N-Spice, the micronutrient product. Do you think N-Spice would make a difference here? Would it positively impact the child's overall development?
Absolutely. I definitely think it's an easy way for struggling families just to ensure that their children don't suffer and don't suffer permanently from, this periodic drought. Hopefully we get rain soon, and hopefully families develop themselves into a more stable quality of life over time.
Yeah. How do you feel N-Spice would affect the community overall?
Definitely smarter, stronger children who get better grades in school, improved creativity and problem-solving skills, better chances for more opportunities in our communities, and mostly saving the government a lot in expenses, as also NGOs, because we have a lot of NGOs here. In America, we have a program called WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, and they provide food for women and infants for the first 1,000 days to ensure that those families get proper nutrition. They'll even provide more than just enough for the baby and the mom. But that, even though you're thinking like, we're paying for these people to eat, that doesn't make any sense. Actually, that program saves our government the most money out of any program that we have in the States.
Wow.
And it's just because taking care of those children and pregnant women at that age and at that time in their life prevents future health care costs by 10 times. So if I give $1 to feed a child, 50 years down the road, it will save me $10. So I think that would be really substantial in especially a place like Swaziland where the country is developing.
Definitely. Awesome, Netta. Hopefully listeners will agree that this product is much needed over here in Swaziland. So I'd like to thank you for your time and your valuable insight on this issue. It's very much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me, Rachel. I hope, I hope I did a good job.
You did great.